Welcome back to welcome back to Between the Ashes, the Growing Silence here on Paladin Gaming. We are back here in the newsroom in its state after the third mission. So we have two new news articles and a new editorial. So let's start reading. New GTA Task Force arrives in Luyten. A joint GTA PVN task force has arrived in the Luyten system, chasing reports of the Hammer of Light terrorist organization operating in the system. If substantiated, this would be the first encounter with Hammer of Light forces since the Battle of Saar. It would also lend credibility to claims of an uncharted jump node in Altair, given the strength of the blockade of the Altair-Aldebaran jump node and the relative predictability of its shifts. Prior to departure, the task force's commander, Captain Jan Varner of the GTA League of Defense, emphasized that the reports of Hammer activity are unconfirmed. The Alliance's calls for restraint have gone largely unheeded, and system militia in several systems, especially those known to hold uncharted jump nodes, have entered a heightened state of readiness to be safe. That was short and new. Plague outbreak in Luyten, which of course we know is false. Medical teams in Luyten report the Lucerta plague has spread to several Luytenese habitats and even Alliance warships. The Lucerta bacterium is poorly understood, but is known to be highly virulent with a long incubation period, allowing it to gain a foothold within a population before being detected. It is also capable of surviving hard vacuum and even crossing species lines to infect Vasudans. These factors together make it very difficult for a spaceborne society such as the Luyten New Alliance to control it, and the government of Luyten has instituted a total lockdown. Reportedly, a single Luytenese ship attempted to breach quarantine, but was detected by the GTSC Warshawski and compelled to turn back. The Warshawski's crew report that they maintained a safe separation at all times, and the ship's mission plan, the 6-month survey of Laramus, acts as a natural quarantine as well. The Lucerta plague induces confusion, aggression, and other behavior patterns likely to spread it, and anyone believing themselves or anyone else to be infected should report to a medical center for testing immediately. Meanwhile, the GTD Nereid under Admiral Namgung has begun anti-piracy operations in Polaris, bringing it into direct conflict with the local government. While Polaris is cooperating with the investigation, it has also called the Nereid's intervention unnecessary and unhelpful, calling back to the Intrepid's counterproductive actions in Antares. The Admiral has not responded to requests for comment at this time. Why do I suspect that that's also not true? Alright, let's go to the editorials. New, the company that never was. Hello there, I'm Hanako Yamada, a private investigator looking into the case of Senators Jacobson and Hoshi. Well, hello there, Caleb Ehan. Last time Estelle let me borrow her column, I talked about evidence suggesting there might be some kind of false flag operation behind their disappearance. The problem is, how do you even start investigating a case like that, especially one that's years old at this point? Well, with a little bit of magic private investigator juice, I was able to get access to some of their official financial records. One name stood out, a Vasudan firm described as providing ship components for Regulus' security force. The numbers didn't quite add up, and when I ran it by a Vasudan colleague, I realized I'd struck gold. The name mixes linguistic registers in a way that no Vasudan dialect allows. It's gibberish. It's like naming your company Worm Food Funeral Services. Is that a smoking gun? No, but it was enough for Imperial regulators to check their records. If you guessed the company doesn't exist, you'd be correct. With hard evidence that our friends are funneling money to a fictional front company, I pulled some strings and traced the transactions. Eventually, there was a real bank account on the other end, a former PVN gunnery engineer. The guy basically invented the school of thought behind the old Mechek cruisers, so he's kind of a big deal, or he was, before he defected to Holly. That's around when the payments stopped. You can see his work in Holly's new warships, or so I'm told. Their Nuit and Selkit cruisers use the same basic gun layout. Also, there's a conspiracy theory that they've got Sheevan systems on board, so that's fun. So what does that mean? Our friends from Regulus were secretly paying a high-profile, soon-to-be HOL defector. Why? Were they duped, or did they want a piece of the action? And what does it imply about their disappearance? Did a Vasudan conspiracy pay off Terran pilots to wrap up loose ends, or does it go even deeper than that? Just what were they playing at? Mitch Yamada insisted I leave this bit in. Okay. So, that is the newsroom after the third, after the third mission of Between the Ashes, the Growing Silence. Here on Paladin Gaming. This is Paladin Gaming, signing off.